Sometimes you're rolling along, you're doing, well, almost everything right, and it's good enough. Other times, doing almost everything right will get you dead, like when the road you're on is curvy, hilly, dark, and trucky, and the rain starts falling. And this popped into my head a few days ago. I was driving from Ohio back to New York City, and the trip had started too late in the day, and once night fell, what had previously been merely a long jaunt on a curvy, hilly road with way too many large trucks jockeying for position became a lot more difficult. Adding dark to the formula took the already felt like an athletic endurance test endeavor to a place that my 55-year-old and don't see all that well at night and had been awake for 14 hours and was facing another 5 hours in the car body to a place that made me really uncomfortable. I was grateful the forecast of rain was a few hours ahead of reality, and then I made an adjustment. I stopped trying to drive at the legal 70 mile per hour limit and accepted that 60 would suffice. All right, well, two adjustments actually. I also put on music that I was familiar enough with to sing along to, and that kept me over-oxygenated and extra alert. Now, that whole good enough thing is what was in play. Perfectionist though I can be, often the addition of extra variables to an ever-shifting business landscape renders doing almost everything right the way to go. I don't like that, and I didn't much enjoy the ride home this weekend, but I needed to adapt in a way that was safe and also productive. 60 miles per hour and forced over ventilation was simply good enough. Now, how does that apply to business process and marketing? Well, this is where doing almost everything right can get tricky. The number of variables driving the way you do business and the way you drive business is huge, and it's growing. This morning, I came across an article in Outbrain that made a handful of great points and yet somehow managed to say almost nothing. The too long didn't read it version is this: content specialization matters. Referrals matter, and high-influence referrals are even better. SEO still matters, but it doesn't pay the bills directly. We mentioned this, but specialization matters. And there's way more change still coming. Oh, and while the TLDR idea has been widely used since we posted that article 5 years ago, TLDR.it, the internet site that started it all, is, sadly, no more. I've mentioned here before that we no longer sell search engine optimization as a standalone service. At the same time, the idea behind SEO is still incredibly important. In the internet age, fail to gather all your juice and point it where you need it pointed, and your business is doomed. So, look at the bullet points and ask, what form of doing almost everything right is being illustrated here? Bullet point number 2, and yep, I'm starting with 2, is likely beyond your means. Getting one of those looks just like an article, but it's really an advertisement pieces posted at the New York Times is very expensive. Number 1 is something we've done here for years. For example, when an OBGYN client of ours needed SEO, we hired medical students to create the content, and that was expensive too, but at least it cost less than doctors would have. Bullet point number 5 is kind of obvious. The more things change, the more they change. Duh. Point 3 is the reason that we stopped selling SEO on a standalone basis. We were very good at getting our clients great search rankings, but there came a point where that just wasn't good enough to justify the cost. SEO became a lead a horse to water but he doesn't drink exercise. That's not okay. You need people to actually visit your site, not merely be vaguely aware it exists. And once they're there, you need them to engage. And once they're engaged, you need, well, you get it. Which brings us to bullet point 4. No matter how great your content is, it will fail in that engagement mission unless you present it the right way. And that changes according to where it's going. This is the reason tools that take your content and repackage it for multiple, they all look and act differently and are targeted toward different types of people, social networks, well, they don't work. Sometimes you write to fit in 140 characters on Twitter, and that'll look bad if you cross-post it to Facebook without changing the way it looks. Doing almost everything right really is good enough because it has to be. Unless you're a huge company with multiple people managing each of your social media accounts, you can't possibly keep up with everything. But as you strive to do almost everything right, you need to make sure the processes that you need to do the important things are in place. And of course, that's where we come in. And remember, even Google is bad at doing everything right. I'm the Answer Guy, and I'll be back.